Hello and welcome to our very first video game showcase here at Gaming Expo online. We're going to be talking about the advent of gaming in the home today. And we're going to be talking about the very first few games consoles that really came out. So, how did it all get started? Most people would probably answer with Pong. The classic console was released by Atari in 1974, but this wasn't the first home console. That was the Magnavox Odyssey, as seen here. Prototyped in 1968 and released in August 1972, 4 years later, it predates Pong being released in the home by a very significant margin. However, the console's largely remembered as a flop, due to its expensive at the time cartridge gaming system. Instead came along Pong, with its extremely basic gameplay of a tennis-like two-dimensional paddle game controlled with a simple potential. Nothing complicated. But why was Pong made? The developer, Alan Alcorn, has stated that the project was meant to be a training exercise and never actually released to the public. Imagine how different the world would be without Pong. Of course, we cannot forget the now infamous lawsuit that came later between Atari and Magnavox over the Pong game itself, with Magnavox accusing Atari of stealing their concept for a 2D tennis-style game. And after a lengthy court battle, they settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. Another big impact Pong had was bringing multiplayer gaming into the home, with the ability to play a full tennis game with your friends and family on your existing TV set for the first time. Some owners of traditional arcades were even worried about their market share diminishing because of this. While that wasn't really an issue with the release of Pong due to the massive difference in power between the original games consoles and the arcade machines at the time, we all know that their fears of losing market share would come true in the next few decades. Anyway, back to Pong. 150,000 units were produced in 1975 alone, with many more copycat machines moving in to take the market share away from Atari in the following years, with large names such as Coleco creating the Telstar and Nintendo creating the Japanese-only color TV game 6. However, there were many more low-quality clones of Atari's home console, and this low-standard console became one of the defining reasons for the very first video game market crash. But we're going to be talking about that a bit later today. Pong remains one of the most popular home games consoles, right into the 1980s and the inception of real games consoles, until eventually it was superseded by options with better gameplay, graphics and actual storylines. Magnavox's original cartridge system became the standard for leading companies of the 80s to build their games on. They created their own contemporary systems. Competitors such as Atari, Nintendo, Commodore and Amiga all switched to a cartridge-based system at one point in the future for a home console release. Later today, we're going to be talking about the inception of 3D graphics in gaming, as well as where gaming's going in the future. So make sure you stay around for that. Thank you very much.